Hello everyone, my name is Marin Guevara, and a huge thank you to anyone who has clicked on this video. Hi and hello to all the new or old subscribers, or anyone who's just visiting. I'm coming at you today with a new haircut. I finally got sick of the long hair and all the weight, so starting off this fall with much shorter hair. And I'm doing a video that is a bit of an update. So I actually did a special edition book collection video back like 2 years ago. However, at the time, I was including books that they were considered special because, for instance, they were once generally available, but now they're out of print. But today in this video, I will be primarily focusing on books where companies have put out premium editions, whether that's with higher quality material, new art, or perhaps they're limited edition or signed. So I'll be focusing on those today. So I'm talking about Folio Society, Broken Binding, Subterranean Press, Suntup, all that good stuff. So I won't only just be showing you my special edition book collection, but I'll also be discussing a bit of my habits, how I approach book collecting, because this isn't a cheap hobby. And I kind of just want to share a bit of like my mindset on when it comes to collecting and sort of where I go when looking for these editions, and maybe some tips and tricks along the way, if that may interest you. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the video. So if you've been on BookTube or Bookstagram, you might have already noticed that the hobbies of reading and book collecting tend to overlap with one another. A lot of readers tend to be book collectors, and I am one of them. I just adore owning beautiful editions of books or series that I love. And what's great about a lot of these companies that I'm going to be talking about is that, they're putting out, premium editions of books that or titles that belong within genre fiction. So that's like sci-fi, horror, fantasy. And I think that's great because it goes to show that these stories don't need to be part of a canon. They don't need to be considered classics to deserve this type of treatment or appreciation. So where do I get my special editions? So as someone who is very particular with the books that they bring in, generally speaking, I am not part of newsletters or subscription boxes because I can't really justify to myself spending this amount of money like every month on a book that may be beautiful, but I am not certain I am going to love or even like. That's why for me, I prefer to save up enough money to purchase a book that I know for certain I want off of the secondhand market for a reasonable deal. So that's why I mainly use eBay, Mercari, Facebook selling groups. And if I am going to go to the publisher's official website, it's only going to be for books that are, for the general public. They're up for general sale. And all of this is to ensure that my library remains curated. I want my shelves to reflect me and my tastes. I also want to ensure that my spending, is kept in check because book collecting can get very expensive, especially if you're purchasing from these companies that I'm going to be mentioning soon. So it's just important to be mindful of your spending habits because you don't want something that you would love to turn into something very, very stressful later down in the road. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on to showing the books. So the first book that I have to show you is from a company known as Beehive Books, and this is their gorgeous edition of The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, one of my favorite classics. Now, actually, one thing that I forgot to mention in a little preamble that I had was that, every collector is going to be a bit different. For me, I really prioritize art. So I love seeing an artist's sort of like new take on the story. However, let's say there's a special edition of a book I really love, but I'm not vibing with the art. And so I'm probably going to pass on that edition, which is, sad in a way, but then also good for my wallet because I'm not spending any money. But yeah, that's just me as a collector. Now, when you have companies like Subterranean Press or Suntup that have the tiers, like artist edition, numbered edition, and letter edition, typically artist is sort of like the lower tier. And then numbered edition, letter edition is where you have like the higher quality material, which a lot of collectors love. For me personally, I prioritize the art. So artist edition is going to be for me all the way, which is great because it's typically the cheapest one. So yeah, that's all to say that I just really love art. And what's great about Beehive Books is that they really put emphasis on art. So just look at this edition that they have. I love the slipcases and how, you know, they're very much tailored to the story. I don't know if you can see, but here we have an indentation that's Gatsby, and this is meant to be the lake that he's looking across. And there you have the green light. And of course, if you've read or studied The Great Gatsby, you know the significance of the green light. So I just love how they incorporated that scene from the book in their slipcase, not even the cover, you know, the hardcover, on the slipcase. So you pull this out and you have the book itself. And honestly, this is probably the most gorgeous hardcover of The Great Gatsby that I have ever seen. And the artist for this edition is actually two artists. It's the Beluso twins. This is Elena and Anna. And what's great about Beehive Books is that they have like an entire page dedicated to their artists. And then they also have a page dedicated to the author as well. So there's old F. Scott Fitzgerald. And I'll take you through the book itself. This edition also comes with like this poster with all this foil, which is great. Now, Beehive Books also has tiers. So I think this one is sort of like the standard edition, and then you also have like a numbered and lettered. And so yeah, this one is just the standard one that you can get. This is available on their website, but you can also purchase these off of Amazon as well. So let me just show you some of the art that's included. So yeah, that's some of the art. And I think it's very fitting. It has a very Art Deco style to it, which is, you know, suitable for the 1920s, where in which the story The Great Gatsby is taking place in. I only have The Great Gatsby because out of their entire catalog, like this is the only one that I wanted. Like I said, I am trying to be very good and only get special editions of books that I love. But, you know, go through their catalog. They have some gorgeous editions. I mean, their edition of Carmilla, stunning. It's just that Carmilla is not a favorite story of mine, so I don't really need to own a beautiful edition of it. But yeah, if what I showed you impressed you, please check out Beehive Books. I'll try to link all the websites down below in the description. So yeah, this is the first of the collection. So for the next group of books, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be familiar with or at least know of, and this is Folio Society. Now, I would consider Folio Society to be one of the more obtainable editions, and I understand that these can get very, very expensive, especially if you're ordering from the States and you're dealing with all the shipping and the tax. But as long as the title is still in stock, you can get them. If they do get out of stock, you know, there's a chance that Folio Society can bring them back. And what's great is that the website does a good job of letting you know when a certain title is low in stock, so you can kind of plan when or if you're going to end up getting them. So I have 4 books in my collection, and I'm going to show you in order of when I got them. So the first Folio Society book that I ever got was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So I purchased this back in 2018, 2019, and this is still available on Folio's website. So the folio books will come in a slipcase, and depending on the title, it could be plain or it could have a pattern. So for instance, on this one, you have the initials of Rebecca de Winter. And then here you got the book itself. So yeah. And this one, I don't know why it's so hard to put back into its slipcase, but I love the fact that it's protected. And here we have just this gorgeous cover, and the back is plain. I'm going to show you some of the art here. What's very interesting when it comes to discussing Folio Society, like there's a debate about whether or not, you know, do you read your Folio Society books? And to be fair, I do. I think these are very readable hardcovers. Yes, they're very high quality. They cost a lot of money, but you know, I don't really have that fear of breaking them because I tend to be very careful with my books when I read them. You know, I think as long as you're not, you know, tearing or ripping, as long as you don't have greasy fingers, like this is a fine book to read from. You know, I don't feel like they also feel durable. I don't feel you need to be afraid of handling your folio books. The next folio book that I have here to show you is The Phantom of the Opera. I love Phantom of the Opera, and I love it when it gets special editions. And this one has a really, really cool cover. Now, I'm sure some people may not like this because of the very distinct art style and the garish coloring, but I think it looks really, really cool. And the art for this one was done by Taylor Dolan. I actually forgot to say who was the artist for the Rebecca, so I'm just going to check real quick. So the art for Rebecca was done by D.G. Smith. So yeah, there you have it. Next we have Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And this slipcase comes with a beautiful door image and a sigil on the back. And this is the cover. So yeah, we got Howl's Moving Castle, and we got Sophie in the bottom here. And the art was done by, let's check, Marie Alice Harrell. And then there's some of the art. Gorgeous book all around, and here's the back as well. And then we have my last Folio Society book, and that is A Circle in the Fire and Other Stories by Flannery O'Connor. I had no idea that, you know, Folio did O'Connor's short stories until I saw this on eBay. And I managed to get this for a really good deal because I sent it an offer and they accepted it. So yeah, I got this for really, like, pretty cheap. So here's the front, and the back's plain. And the artist is Deanna Staffo, and I really like her illustrations. I think these are very fitting. So while it's not the largest collection of Folio Society here on BookTube, I'm so happy with these because these are all titles and authors that I love, and the fact that they're represented on my shelves in such, you know, beautiful manner just pleases me so much. Next we have The Broken Binding, and if you're on the SFF side of BookTube, I am positive you have heard about this company and their editions. What's good about The Broken Binding is that yes, while they do put out special editions of, you know, books that have quite a lot already, like Red Rising or like the Greenbone Saga, they also do highlight titles or series that maybe like independently published or maybe not so well known. So the only book that I have as of right now from The Broken Binding is The Way of a Dan by Philip Chase. Now, this is the only book in my special edition book collection that has broken my rule because I have not read The Way of a Dan yet. But I had to have this edition and I had to support Philip Chase because, you know, great channel here on BookTube, fantastic. I even did like a discussion video with Philip as well a little while back. He's absolutely great, and I am for sure going to be reading his A Dan trilogy, and I am for sure going to be owning it in the Broken Binding edition because this is stunning. So I actually got this off of the Broken Binding website. They actually went out of stock. I was like, darn it. And I was kind of scoping out the secondhand market, but then they restocked. I think they had a bit left over, so I got very lucky. So this one is actually numbered and signed. So there are 1,500 copies. I have number 987, and it does have Philip's signature on it as well. And this is a stunning book, absolutely stunning. So I'm going to take off the dust jacket here is the cloth-bound hardcover. And it has a quote on the back. "The old tales take us to faraway times and places, but they're also where we come from. They tell us how we got here." Absolutely beautiful. And just the dust jacket itself, like I said, gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that wraparound art. And this edition also has gold sprayed edges, both on the top, the bottom, and the side. And it does come with gorgeous art. Look at that. Oh my lord, stunning. This is just a stunning edition. And it also has black and white art as well. So it has black and white art, but it also has, you know, full colored art as well. Yes. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous book. Sewn, I'm pretty sure it's sewn bound as well. Just absolutely stunning. And you have a map on the end pages. So yeah, looking forward to the next book in the series. Even though I haven't read it yet, still, I know I'm going to enjoy this book. And like I said, really do want to support Philip. He's fantastic. One of the pillars of the SFF, you know, booktube community, I'd say. So yeah, that's the only broken binding edition that I have as of right now. Gonna go on a little spiel right now, but I am waiting for the day that Broken Binding does the Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft, because oh dear God, it's gonna be so beautiful, because the world that Bancroft has crafted, I'm sure it lends itself well to the visual medium. So I'm just waiting for the day. I forgot to tell you who the artist is. Shame on me. So the art was done by, the cover art was done by Renee Agner. The colored interior art also done by Renee Agner. And the black and white interior art by Peng Lu. So great job, everyone who contributed to this book. It is stunning. Now for the next books, we have what I consider to be the creme de la creme, the grails of my collection. And these are my Subterranean Press editions of Josiah Bancroft's work. Not just the Books of Babel, because I also have an Imperial Retinue, which is a short story collection. I also have the Hexologist as well. And you know what? Huge kudos to Subterranean Press, because aside from, I would say, like Anderida, who just put out like signed hardcover editions, Sub Press is basically the only company that has given, you know, the Books of Babel their laurels, you know, providing us with special editions of them. And they're absolutely gorgeous. These are easily the most beautiful books in my collection. So the first one we have here is Senlin Ascends. And yes, the Mylar wrap is killing me, but it is there for protection, so I'm very glad it's there. So yeah, we have the bottom of the tower. And if you actually look here, this is our two characters, Tom and his wife, Maria. And yeah, oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. This Tom Kid art is phenomenal. Tom Kid is sort of a master with regards to art in science fiction and fantasy. So I'm actually going to remove the dust jacket to show you the rest of the book. So this is the cloth-bound naked hardcover. And then I'm going to show you some of the art. My copy, so there are 400 copies of the Books of Babel. So I have number 392, and it is signed by Josiah Bancroft. Gorgeous. And then there's that one. And this is my favorite page in this entire book, for sure. So yeah. And then, like I said, here's the dust jacket. Gorgeous, beautiful, stunning dust jacket. That's what it looks like on the back. Now, I did talk about how my Folio Society books, I am not afraid to handle those. Now, when using, or rather opening and handling these Subterranean Press books, I'm actually a bit more nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just don't want anything to happen to these. I don't want any rips, tears, smudges, or anything. So next we have Arm of the Sphinx. This is the second book. And what's great about this series, the way that Tom Kidd has illustrated these, with each book, you're ascending the tower. So I think that's really cool. And you got like airship battle here. You have the back image. And then I'll show you the naked hardback, the cloth bound hardback. So this one's a gray. This one, I believe, has a bit less art in it compared to Sun Ascends. So here you go. We have the library scene, which I absolutely love. One of my favorite scenes in Arm of the Sphinx. And then you have this really cool page as well that's flipped this way. Just great. Absolutely great. And like each book in this series is numbered 392 and signed by Josiah Bancroft. I'm sure there are sub-press collectors looking at me like, oh my god, the way she's handling these. I know. Next we have the third book in the series. We have The Hod King. Oh dear lord, that glares. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. But you know what? It's for the protection. I'll try my best. I hope this is enough. But just know that there's more airship shenanigans going on. But yeah, just take in that Tom Kidd art. Take it in. Look at that. And this one has a brown cloth bound naked hardcover. And yeah. Probably my favorite illustration. This one is also very good. Look at that. Ah. Lastly, we have The Fall of Babel. Look at this, guys. Oh my god. Once again, the glare is killing me. But just take my word for it. It's gorgeous, guys. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. Tom Kidd is a master. This one has like a dark gray, hard, you know, cloth-bound hardcover to it. And it's so thick. Absolutely thick. This one, I'm terrified, guys. I don't think I'll show a lot of art because, like I said, oh my god, I'm so terrified of hurting this book. Is it focusing? Yeah, it's focusing. Okay. And then what's also great about this book is on the back, you can actually have sketches of some of the characters. So let me see if I can find them. There you go. So we have the Sphinx, or the Spoon. If you know, you know. We got Captain Edith Winters. Fantastic character. And then we have Captain Mudd and Headmaster Senlin. Love it. Love it. I was so jazzed to have found this at the back of the book because I'd owned these for a bit. And then I didn't realize towards the end we had like character sketches. I was so happy. And then next we have An Imperial Retinue, and this is a collection of short stories that take place within the world of the Books of Babel, but they also contain cut material from the books as well. So here we have, oh my god, glare! How dare you? How dare you cover this beautiful art? But yeah, let's see. Oh my god, there's a camera. You're probably just seeing my room. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah. And this one as well, also numbered 392, signed by Josiah Bancroft. This one has these blue lined illustrations, but it also has full colored illustrations as well. So here's one. And then this one is probably my favorite illustration out of the collection. So yeah. That is An Imperial Retinue. And now we move on to the Hexologist. Now, unfortunately, Subpress will not be continuing on with the rest of the series of the Hexologist, which is a darn shame because, once again, it's got beautiful art. So the Babel books were illustrated by Tom Kidd. And there are actually two artists for the Hexologist. So the artist who did the cover is Omar Ryan. And just look at that. And I know him from that meme. It's the one where I accidentally sent my Christmas letter to Satan, not Santa. I'll put a picture of the meme. But yeah, that's the same artist as well. And what's great is that the inside illustrations are actually from a different artist, Ian Leno. And Ian is a friend of Josiah Bancroft's. They've been friends since they were kids. And Ian was actually the one who illustrated the covers to the Books of Babel, the ones that you see from the Orbit paperbacks. So yeah, he did these interior illustrations. That's really cool. It's another collaboration between two artists, two friends. I think that's fantastic. Now, the Hexologist is actually out of 500 rather than 400. And I still have, yeah, copy 392, and it is signed by Bancroft. So yeah, those are all my Bancroft books. This one doesn't have an image. This one just has like blurbs. I also forgot to show the hardcover. I like this one. It's like mustard, like this pale mustard yellow. So yeah, those are all my Bancroft books. Like I said, the creme de la creme, the jewel of the collection. I eagerly await more Books of Babel editions. Come on, just give them to me. Feed me, please. Please, companies. Please, publishers. I'm begging you. So for the next group of books, you can actually see them here in the back. These are my Chiroptera Press editions of the collected works of H.P. Lovecraft. Now, just so you know that there are trade versions of these available. So if you're just interested in the content, there are trade versions out there. It's called Variorium. These are only just the premium editions of those original trade versions, okay? These are just premium editions that were put out by Chiroptera Press. Now, these are limited edition of 500, if I'm not mistaken. They don't say it on the inside, but I did a bit of digging. Someone even asked this question to Chiroptera Press on their, I think, Facebook page, and there are 500. This is limited to 500. So I got these directly from the site, from Chiroptera Press's site. Now, I'm pretty sure their subscribers had early access, but what ended up happening, any leftovers are put out, for sale to the general public, and that's when I was able to snatch a copy of these. So this first one I actually got as a Christmas gift, great Christmas gift. So this hasn't been Mylar wrapped, so you are spared, and you can properly appreciate the art done by Karamazid. This contains Lovecraft's work from 1905 to 1925. So this is volume 1, and you got Dagon on the back. Look at that. Now, for these editions, these are considered to be sort of like the definitive version of Lovecraft's work. And of course, any respectable collection of Lovecraft is going to have S.T. Joshi. He is the Lovecraft expert. And here we have the naked cloth-bound cover. Look at that. Just stunning. Like I said, Karamazid does the art, not only the dust jacket, but he does the art in here as well. This is just full of art. So that's the doom that came to Sarnath here. And what's great about these is that they feel very readable. These are sewn bound. Don't feel too bad handling these. I think I'm pretty good. The one thing I'm afraid to handle are these dust jackets because they're very fragile. That's why I need to have it Mylar wrapped. We've got Azathoth here. Look at that. So we have here volume 2, and as I mentioned, I got all of these off of their website. I was very fortunate enough to be able to be there to snatch them up when they were released. So this is volume 2. That's Cthulhu in the front, if you can't tell. And this contains his work from 1926 to 1930. And then here we got the cloth-bound hardcover. And then I'll show you some more of that art. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous work. And there's that one. Then we got volume 3. This depicts At the Mountains of Madness. And this contains Lovecraft's work from 1931 to 1936. And I really like the cloth bound hardcover, or like naked hardcover. Got this burgundy look to it. Look at that. There we go. We got the shadow of her Innsmouth here. Love it. And then we have volume 4, and this is his revisions and collaborations. And this one is, as you can tell, is very thick. It's thicker than all the other ones. So this one actually costed a bit more than the previous 3. But look at that. Look at this naked hardcover. It's, look at this foil. Look how metallic it is. Absolutely gorgeous. And I can't tell you what's on the cover of the dust jacket. I'm not actually certain exactly, but yeah. Now, when it comes to these Chiroptera Press editions, I would say these are some of like the harder ones to get on the secondhand market, because looking out on eBay and Mercari, you don't see a lot of people reselling these, and if you do, the prices are just ridiculous. I've seen people ask like $200, $300 for the second volume. I've seen people ask for $1,000 for the first volume. It's insane. And it's nowhere near the price I paid for them off of their website. So yeah, just be mindful that if you are interested in these editions, they're going to be harder to track down for sure. I have made these my definitive editions of Lovecraft's work. I've basically unhauled, or I'm trying to unhaul, all the other Lovecraft editions that I owned before. Because yeah, these are very, very high quality, both in terms of like the outside and the inside. We have now arrived at the last book in my special edition book collection, and that is my Suntup Press edition of The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. One of my favorite books of all time, and I was just so jazzed that a company decided that the Hannibal Lecter series needed the premium treatment, because I completely agree. So Suntup Press, another press where I'm kind of intimidated by, even like off the secondhand market, like just standard, market price, they are pretty expensive. Like the artist editions can go for like maybe like $125, around that range, around that price. And then numbered and letter, like they're beyond me. Same thing with Subterranean Press's numbered and letter, just beyond my means. There's no way, which is fine, because as I said, I do prefer the artist edition. I prioritize art. So yeah, the Suntup Press, however, they intimidated me because they can be quite pricey, especially on the secondhand market. Prices there will range depending on how sought after the book is. If you have a book that, not a lot of people really care for, or less people are showing interest in, or if it's still available in stock on Suntup Press's site, maybe you're going to see it for like maybe $100, maybe below it. But for a title that is very, sought after, that could go for like up to like the 200s. So my copy was actually a gift, and I'm incredibly grateful because this was a grail item of mine for the longest time. And similar to Subterranean Press, you just touch it and you can tell just how high quality it is. So here we have the slipcase with the death head moth, and then this does wrap around. You got the title there, and then you have it on the back. You take it out, and this one actually does come with a bookmark. And yes, it's Mylar wrapped, so you're gonna have to see this glare here. But I really like the artistic interpretation. We have Clarice Starling, and I'm pretty sure that's Hannibal Lecter as this dark angel. Very, very interesting. Tom Bagshaw was the one who did the art for this artist edition, and there is like a signature here. Yep. This is limited to 1,000 copies, and there is a signature by Tom Bagshaw. So only, I think, the numbered and letter editions, if I'm not mistaken, are signed by the author. The artist edition only has the artist's signature, which is fine, completely fine. And then here's the naked hardcover. You can actually see an indentation of the death head moth here. Then we got the spine. I'm going to show you a bit of the art as well. So we got here Clarice Starling, so Tom Bagshaw's interpretation of the character. I don't know if I can show this one. There is Naked Man, so I think I'll just skip that one. But then here we have Hannibal Lecter. And in the book, it was a hockey mask. And then we got Buffalo Bill's Workshop. And then here we have a scene where Clarice is facing off with Buffalo Bill in the dark. So yeah, just gorgeous, gorgeous book. And oh dear Lord, the paper quality. Oh, so good. Now when it comes to Suntup, luckily for me, aside from like Red Dragon and Hannibal and maybe Hannibal Rising, there really isn't any other book that I want from that press. Great for my wallet, fantastic for my wallet. They did have a Gormenghast edition that they came out with, but only in numbered and lettered. They did not have an artist edition, so not for me. But yeah, so that was my special edition book collection. I hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, I'm so sorry for all the glare coming off the Mylar wrapping. I hope you are still able to appreciate all this beautiful art. So yeah, thank you all for watching, for listening to me ramble. And please let me know down in the comments, do you also collect special editions? And if so, what do you collect? What are your collecting habits as well? And do you own any of these editions? What are some of your favorite editions in your collection? So once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!